because he's actually American. But he's got a Greek name. Give it up for Socrates, one of the funniest people I've ever seen here. Let's go.
Thanks so much. Keep going to the Zuriya. Who came for the kids? Yeah. See that? Give away kids, get a crowd. That's what I like. You know you can breed them. It takes time, but you know, it's a patience thing. It's a long game kind of a situation. So yeah, I am. My name is Socrates. I am an American.
Woo.
Yeah. That's the American expat. Where are you from in the U.S.? You're from Canada. That's even worse. Yeah. Haven't got the guts to be American. Jesus Christ. We're north. You know, we're north of all of North America. You know, we live north of all of the entire U.S. except for part of Alaska. You know, and part of Canada too, I guess. You know what I mean? But it's beautiful living here. I love living here. You know, global warming. It's very positive if you live here. You know, I've been living here 14 years, and I remember when we had winters. Well, coldish. Sort of cold, you know. I left Florida. I am a Florida man. Thank you, appreciate that. The difference between a Florida man and a regular guy living in Florida is that the Florida man's been arrested and it gets in the paper. You know, I did stuff, it just didn't end up in the paper. You know. But Florida's like, it's a lot like here, but it's sort of like weather-wise is similar, believe it or not. I mean, obviously it's hotter there, but it rains all the time as well, except it's like sort of a biblical rain of death, you know? I mean, it's very hard to be killed by the weather here, but in Florida, it happens all the time. You know, it's like Florida man weather is what we call fire season. Yeah, you think it's bad when it's raining outside. You see flames leaping off the other side. That sucks. That's Florida weather right there. The cool thing with Florida weather, after a while, the fire season ends with hurricane season. Yeah, you pray for rain long enough, God will reward you. So I've been living here for a while now, and I love living here because, you know, it rains all the time a little bit like this, and it's hard to get on fire like that. One of my favorite Dutch words, though, is that rain word for the little tiny rain that you get in your face, you know, miser, you know, because it makes you so miserable. The worst thing about miser is if you are on fire, it's not going to put you out. Just be slightly damp and burn it. Yeah. But like I said, I've been living here for a while. I like living here. It's a great kind of country. I've actually just got accepted. I'm giving up my American citizenship. I'm becoming Dutch. Woo. So if there's any racists in the room who need to go, I've got a space left open for you back there. Yeah. America. It used to be great. You know? Not anymore. The world's transitioning. That's this whole thing. Like we're transitioning from an Earth-like planet to a Martian-like planet, with the confidence that we could turn Mars back into Earth. That's a level of confidence that only Elon Musk could level up to, you know? But living here for a while, it's a hard language to learn. Dutch is a weird language. Anybody not speak any Dutch? Do you all speak perfect Dutch? Yeah, the Canadian doesn't speak it. I get that. Barely speak American, a boot. But they say, you know, learning a language is good for you. It's good for your brain. You get better and better, you know. And so, how can it hurt you? You know, well, I'll tell you this much. It hurt me. I learned a Dutch word, which was aangereden. And this word was painful to learn, I gotta tell you, because it means to be slammed into. And in my case, it was aangereden door scooterklootzak. That's what the guy told me. He said that just happened to me. I mean, I was slammed into by this asshole in a scooter. Yeah, again, you have plans in your life, you know what I mean? We're all like, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. It's like, I was planning to go to the sauna, you know, because of the naked people. And the sweat, and the sweaty naked people. You know, that was a plan. I thought it was a good plan. Why not? You know what I mean? And I started to go into there, and I was riding along the feet pad, which is a bike pad that's not for your feet. It's for your bike. And so this car drove onto the feet pad, and then a scooter drove on the feet pad too. None of them were using their feet, but they drove onto it. And I tried to explain to them what they were all doing wrong, but I didn't have time. So all I could say was, ah! And it went flying through the air like a bird. But I landed like an octopus. I broke half of my arms. Yeah. And it was a different change in my plans. I can tell you that point. The whole day changed at that point. I learned something that day, though. If you need an ambulance in the Netherlands, and they say to you, are you going to pass out? The correct answer is yes. Because I honestly said, I don't think so. And they said, take a taxi. I thought about it for a moment. I said, you know, I'm getting a little dizzy. I might pass out. I said, oh, we'll send you an ambulance. True story. True, completely true story. And the difference is, when the ambulance came there, he offered me fentanyl, which you can get from a taxi. But you have to set it up beforehand, you know? You gotta know the guy, you gotta know other people. It's a whole big thing. But the ambulance guy says, would you like a shot of fentanyl? And at first, I actually said no, because I'm an American, you know? Don't tease me, just give me heroin. And he gave me the fentanyl. It literally did nothing to me. He gave me a saline injection. I was like, oh, thank you, that feels so good. He said, now I'm going to give you the fentanyl. What the hell was that? It's saline. It was very effective. Fentanyl, completely useless. I get to the hospital, the house of paracetamol, and they take one look at my x-ray, and it's the worst reaction you can have when the doctor looks at your x-ray, and they should never do this, but they did it multiple times, which is, you know, I saw it. It was a crappy x-ray. I was like, I hope that's not me. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And then she offered me a shot of morphine. Yeah, paracetamol was not going to cut it. And I got to tell you, anybody here done a shot of morphine? Yeah, it's a good drug. Was it with friends or at the hospital? And that guy became your friend, didn't he? Oh yeah, it's good stuff, right? Oh yeah, it's like a warm hug on a cold night. Yeah, morphine's great. It's like, hopefully you're hurt. If you're doing it for fun, I don't know, you got life choices. But if you're hurt, what you should do is pretty much sit around and nap and not move too much. And the shot of morphine in you, ooh, there's nothing better than sitting around not doing anything but napping a bit. And they sent me home with a second shot of morphine, which was nice because, you know, going for the road. But they sent me home with what they call conservative treatment. Have you had conservative treatment in the Netherlands? This is what they do. Nothing. Literally nothing. They gave me a blue strap. Put my arm in this blue Velcro strap, and you knew it was modern because it had the Velcro. And they said, it comes good. Yeah, you've heard this, right? It's like, it's not, I don't make this up. They say it. They all say it comes good. It's optimistic, saves a little time, costs them nothing whatsoever. My butcher told me it comes good too. You know, I believed him because he knows bones. And so they sent me home with this optimistic phrase and told me to keep moving my arm because it shouldn't freeze up. God forbid I get a frozen shoulder. I had a broken shoulder. We wouldn't want that to freeze, would we? Ugh. So they told me to keep moving it, and because I could only raise it up so high, and they told me to keep pushing it up higher. And I said to him, you know what this looks like? He said, well, I don't care. You want a frozen shoulder? I said, no. So I'm at my house waving at my neighbors, trying to get my arm from locking up. Get all sorts of hate from the neighborhood. It's really bad. I was in Enschede. I told the same joke. They knew what was going on. Good neighbors and good fences. So after a while, I said to my doctor, I said, hey, doc, I cannot raise my arm higher than this. I have arm erectile dysfunction. And he said, helaas and pindakaas, which is a useless Dutch saying. I don't know if you've heard this one or not. It means, oh well, peanut butter. Yeah, helaas and pindakaas, oh well, and peanut butter. It rhymes. That's the whole point. It rhymes, because it doesn't make much sense. It doesn't have to make sense in Dutch if it rhymes. My favorite Dutch rhyming sentence of all is, nogen in de koken. An actual Dutch phrase, we all acknowledge this. It means fucking in the kitchen. I have no idea how to use nogen in de koken in context. I've asked people. No one has been able to give me an idea. Maybe on Tinder. I'm not sure. The only thing I've been able to figure out is if you combine nogen in de koken with helaas and pindakaas, you end up with satay sauce? I'm not a big fan of satay sauce. But anyway, so about 4 months passed. I finally get surgery in November. In October? Yeah, that's a new month I made up. It's the morphine. I tell you, it's a great drug if you get the chance. And they did surgery on my arm finally and put in 12 screws in my arm, a bone from a dead guy. I don't know who he was. I didn't kill him. But, and they took bone out of my knee and vein merk. I had to learn, again, horrible words you're learning. It was great to learn a new language, merk, marrow, bone marrow. It's like, oh yeah, you don't want to need it. Why do you need to know that? Because they're going to drill it out of my leg. And so I couldn't walk for 6 months after that. Yeah, there's a Dutch word for this too, which is, if you haven't heard this one, it's a very common Dutch word. It's sort of a sarcastic sigh, you know. It kind of happens when you miss the train, or like, you know, you show up to a big charity event to raise millions for the kids, and, you know, they get a couple of bucks. Hey, they're young still, you know what I mean? Hell with them. I mean, I'm 57 now, you know, which is 75 in Dutch. You know, I might trade with one of these little kids, depends on their circumstances, you know. In fact, after all these things happened to me in August, I think finally I'm getting better. You know what I mean? Getting through my life, getting a little healthier. Actually, I had a second operation in there because now I have a reversed shoulder in here. And it all went necrotic. Another great word, if you don't know, it means to die. Yeah, necromancer. D&D. You can learn so much with Dungeons & Dragons about the world. And so they finally replaced my entire shoulder, so I have a reversed prosthetic now where I had a ball, I used to have a socket, and I had a socket and I have a ball. So I kind of have a trans shoulder. So I thought maybe this was all finally finally done and good. I can go to the sauna, go back to my plan. And, you know, in August, I ended up, you know, beautiful sunny day, and I thought, well, what could go wrong today? I took a nap for an hour, and I woke up, and I had a stroke. Yeah, there's no jokes about strokes. That's the thing, you break an arm, it's kind of funny, but a stroke just kind of sucks, you know? In the end, it's like I went to sleep as Socrates, and I woke up as Socrates. So in the end, I was giving my advice as far as life goes. I would, unfortunately, it's sort of kids aren't here. In the end, it's like, you should try to maintain a life and work balance. You know, that's what I've learned in this existence of mine, that it's like hard to maintain a life and work balance. And one of the most important things is to never ever take your work home with you, know, which applies doubly if you're a kindergarten teacher. Well, how do you think I meet all these kids all the time? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so I'm going to become a Dutch citizen, that'll be fun, and if you need to go to America, and like I say, if you worry about, I think people get the name Socrates and they expected more Socratic stuff. Unfortunately, just my name. It was my grandfather's name, so it was not imparted with any extra wisdom. But I will tell you this, when you expect politicians to come to our survival system to save us, you know, I was living in America, we had our new fascism under Trump. And I don't know if you know about Argentina, they just also sort of elected a strange guy. That's why I like living here, because it could never happen in the Netherlands. But, you know, the politicians are the one things that are out there to save us, and that's always good. But people don't realize that politics is a Greek word, and it comes from poly, which means many, and ticks, which is a blood-sucking parasite that spreads diseases. It's politics. So anyway, be positive in the future, because these kids are going to grow up in this wonderful world, and they're going to enjoy the sunshine all the place. And my name is Socrates. Tip your waitresses. Buy yourself a kid. Give it up for Samir.
We're going for Socrates.